Find the equation of a parabola of the form f of x equals a times x minus h squared plus k that satisfies the given conditions. Our x-intercepts are at negative 3 and 5, and the highest point has y-coordinate 4. Well, let's put those bits of information on a graph and see what we can learn. Negative 3 and 5 are the x-intercepts, so we know the parabola passes through those 2 points. And the highest point has a y-coordinate of 4. So somewhere along here is the highest point. By the symmetry of the graph, we know that the vertical axis of symmetry should be somewhere between negative 3 and 5. In fact, it should be exactly halfway in between. So if we are looking for the vertical axis of symmetry, which is x equals h, that gives us the vertical axis for a function like this. Think about that as a shift to the right h units of the standard parabola y equals x squared. So our vertical axis is x equal h, and that should be somewhere directly in between negative 3 and 5. So h can be found by averaging those two. Negative 3 plus 5 divided by 2 is 2 over 2, that's just 1, and h equals 1. That is also the, if you write x equals 1, that's the equation of the vertical axis of symmetry. So, we know a little bit more about f. F of x is equal to a times x minus 1, h is now known to be 1, squared plus k. Let's see if we can learn what k is. This is, if you think about the standard parabola y equals x squared, this leftward or rightward shift in terms of whether h is negative or positive will move us along the x-axis. A will flip and or stretch the graph, and k will shift it up and down. In fact, k represents either the highest or the lowest point of the parabola. It's the y-coordinate of the vertex. So if the highest point is y equals 4, then we know that k will equal 4. And that's easy to fill in for this function. Now we're left to fill in the parameter a. To do that, we'll need one of the points on the graph. We can either use the point negative 3, 0, or we can use the point 5, 0. Let's do that. Let's use negative 3, 0. So f of negative 3 should equal 0, but f of negative 3 also equals a times negative 3 minus 1 squared plus 4. Well, looking at the right part of this, we see that 0 has to equal a times negative 4 squared, that's 16, plus 4. Solving for a means that negative 4 over 16 is equal to a. That's negative 1/4. So now we've completely determined the expression for f. F of x is equal to negative 1/4 x minus 1 squared plus 4. And that was what we were asked to do, was find an expression in this form for the given parabola. Notice that since our highest coordinate was 4, we could sketch an approximate graph of this as well now. The parabola shown here has this equation.